Hello and welcome everybody, what is going on? So welcome to like the first audio video podcast thing. It's not really a podcast, basically where we're just gonna go through a few topics that would be not quite good enough to make a single video on and just make it into a longer, more interesting video. Now I've got 4 topics here that I want to discuss. 2 of them are Bayern related and 2 of them are just, well, 3 of them are Bayern related and 1 of them is not so much, but I would love to get your thoughts on that. Now the first one that I want to talk about is the minutes per goal involvement among players in Europe's top 5 leagues. I'll have, obviously you'll see it on the screen right now, but essentially if you look at that graph and you look at 2 players that are in there, in Frank Ribery and Arjen Robben, the question arises, how good are they throughout a whole season? Now if you look at the graph, you can clearly see that Ribery, he gets about an assist or a goal about every 59 minutes or so, which is very impressive considering his age. Arjen Robben on the other hand, he is at about 71, which is also very impressive. Now it also begs the question, considering that there are only 2 players that are in that list. It asks the question, there are only 2 players in that list that are below 90, so they're below a game, that have an influence at least once a game, or should at least have an influence once a game. Now considering that is the case, the question arises, has our team been good enough this season? You know, you're looking at creativity, you're looking at goals, you're looking at everything. Has that been good enough? And my answer to that is a simple no. We've simply not been good enough up front, and we've not really been good enough at the back either. So far we've just been moving by. We haven't really been that spectacular, and we haven't really been that outstanding. But as I always say, it's better to play good at the end of the season than at the beginning of the season. So that's what we'll have to do, and that's what we'll hopefully do. That's just my take on it, though. But I thought it was very interesting to share it, just because Ribery, a lot of people have been criticizing Ribery and Robben, saying that they're too old, that they don't have a place in the team. And looking at the stats, the stats would prove different. The stats would show that that might not be the case, and it might be a fact that they are still good enough. And in my opinion, they are still good enough. That's just the way I see it. It doesn't matter if they're always injured, or most of the time injured. When they're on the pitch, they are outstanding, and that's just my take on it. But next up, I just wanted to talk about Jerome Boateng, because he has stated that he's going to be ready and available for the match against Dortmund, which is obviously after the international break. And apparently he has been diagnosed with an accumulated fluid in his right knee joint. He will rest for 7 days, and that's the Teat said. And I have no idea what accumulated fluid in his right knee joint is, I'll be totally honest here. But it's good that he's only going to be out for 7 days, because that means that he won't really miss a beat. He's going to come back, he's going to be able to take part straight away, and that's a very positive sign, considering that we've had injury problems here and there in defense. So that's a very positive sign. It also, right now Bachelor will also have the time to train and whatnot, so he should be available for the match against Dortmund. Right now it looks very good in defense, for the matchup against Dortmund after the international break, and I guess you could say it's a positive news, because that means that he won't be able to play for Germany. That there's no risk of him getting injured playing for Germany, and right now he's basically just resting, which I found very positive and very good. So that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think him being out for 7 days is quite bad, and that due to him not being able to train, and him having to rest for 7 days, that he basically can't play against Dortmund? Or do you guys think that 7 days is not that much, he should be able to play fine, considering that at the beginning of the season in the Super Cup we basically had players that basically weren't even ready to play, that weren't even healthy enough to play, and we still played them just because it's a one-off match? Do you guys think that's the same with Boateng, or are you guys much more concerned that he might get injured again, and would rather wait that he rests more, and that way that he won't get injured again? Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Now, next up we have Ilkay Gundogan basically saying that Manchester City's training ground is much better than anything he's ever witnessed, even that at Bayern or Dortmund. And to that, I have to say I totally 100% agree. For anyone that has actually seen both training grounds, there is really no comparison. You know, you're looking at Manchester City's training ground. It is bigger. It is honestly, it's better. I've seen both. I've been at Manchester City training ground, to be fair, because you can go inside, you can just train in the hall, you can actually train and whatnot. I've had my prom at the Manchester City Stadium, which is kind of fun. So that my school prom that was. So I've been at both. I've seen both quite clearly, and I think there's no comparison, to be totally honest. But I think the fact that it's been made such a big story, everyone's saying, oh, you're saying that Manchester City is bigger, it's better than Bayern. That is not the case. He's just simply talking about the training ground, which I have to absolutely 100% agree. You're looking at training facilities. Manchester City is bigger, it's more spacious, you can develop on more things, it has more training grounds and whatnot, whereas the Bayern one is quite small, not so much in terms of size, but just so much in terms of density. And you know, it's all very close together, but it doesn't really allow you to have multiple training pitches to practice because there are so many teams, and that's just a big problem there. That's why we're really trying to move everything away and trying to build a new training facility, the youth training facility, just so that we have a bit more space. And I guess that's a positive thing. Despite ours being so modern, it's still lacking behind, so that's what we really have to improve upon. But last but not least, a story that doesn't involve Bayern, just so you guys have something else to think about, and that is Leipzig. Basically, the second in the table right now based on goal difference, which is quite astonishing, really. But based on goal difference, the second in the league. A very, very good team so far. You know, so far I think they've been the highlight of the season with Hoffenheim. They've been the two teams that have really stood out. Hertha Berlin as well have been really well. So you know, those three teams, Hertha Berlin especially, because obviously last season they did so well. Hoffenheim with Nagelsmann, I mean, they've been a team that has collected the third most points besides Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola, and Tuchel. So they've been this side that has collected the third most points since he has joined, which is quite astonishing, really, considering how big the team is. And then you have obviously Leipzig, who have come in and have literally set the Bundesliga alight. And they are trying to build a new 70,000 seated stadium, which is quite intriguing, because if the season goes as it has started this season, if they continue their path, and if they ultimately end up in one of the European places, they are really shaping up for a powerhouse. They're really trying to become the next superpower in Germany and also in Europe. You're looking at 70,000. That's quite big. That is a really big. That is our size almost. Obviously, it depends on how that translates, but it's quite interesting. It's very interesting to see how much they're not just investing in players and not just investing in youth, because their youth is absolutely amazing, but also investing in the infrastructure. And it really asks the question, are they going to be the next powerhouse, or is that not going to last? Is it going to be similar to what Hoffenheim tried to do, what Leverkusen, they essentially established that, and Wolfsburg also tried to do? Is that going to be the similar case, where they're just going to be there for like 5-10 years or so, and then they're going to fall off completely? Or do you guys think that can last, and do you guys think that that is the case, that they're going to become the next German/European superpower? I'm very intrigued by now. I think it's still far too early to really say that they're going to do well or they're not going to do well. I think I'm going to give them this season, and after that I can make a good judgment. After the summer as well, when they see who they bring in, who they sell and whatnot, and what kind of purchases they do, that is when I'll be able to say, okay, you know what, they're doing really well, and you know what, maybe they are a threat to be reckoned with. But that's just my take on those 4 stories. What do you guys think about the 4 topics so far? Do you guys think I should do more of these videos? I was planning on doing maybe like once a week, just so I have a few topics that actually are interesting to talk about, whereas I don't want to talk about anything because that'd be kind of boring. But what do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section down below. As always, you can rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace out and have a nice day. Bye.